So we are here with Math 135, Section 1.6, Parts A and B. If you are using the textbook, good for you, but I would recommend that you just come here to get the problems that we're going to be doing. Our purpose this week or for this session is going to be students will be able to write and evaluate total cost, revenue, and profit functions. Also find, use, and explain the meaning of marginal cost, marginal revenue, and marginal profit. And students will be able to find break-even points. And so we'll talk more about that as we go through. There are some Schlegel notes here. This first quick review, I'm not going to go over. That's just something for you to read and sort of hopefully help solidify your memory with. We are going to go straight to our first problem, which is talking about the company Schlegel's Consulting. And profit for Schlegel's Consulting can be represented by a linear function. For 4 hours of consulting, Schlegel profits $500. And for 6 hours of consulting, Schlegel profits, that's a typo right there, that should say 750. I'm going to cover it with my cursor because that should definitely be 750. So I will fix that before putting this up for you guys. At any rate, what we notice is we are asked to write an equation that represents Schlegel's consulting profit, as well as identify and interpret the y-intercept of the function. So let's take a look. First of all, when we need to write an equation, what we want to do is use the y-intercept. And so we look for the y-intercept in the problem and recognize that it is not there. Since we don't have a y-intercept, we are stuck using point-slope form, which I have already written out here on my iPad, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And so what we need to remember is that for this formula, we need a y1 value, we need a slope, and we need an x1 value. So we are going to go ahead and start with recognizing that we need the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So with that, we do need our points, and our points for this are going to be 4, 500, and again, there is a typo on the presentation right now. That should be 6, 750, not 6, 850. So we can go ahead and label those points. This is going to be our x1 and our y1. This is going to be our x2 and our y2. We can slam that into the slope formula. We've got y2 is 750. And I need to take my own advice and write my fraction bar with my minus signs in it already so that it helps me not make silly mistakes as I work through this. 750 minus 500 over 6 minus 4. And I'm going to go ahead and let Wolfram go ahead and handle any math that I need to do for me. I'll get it typed up over here on the right and on the other screen here and hit enter. And it looks like we are going to end up with a result of 125. So our slope in this case is 125. So now we've got all the information we need to put together a point slope formula for this problem. We've got y minus y1 is 500 is equal to the slope, which is 125, times x minus x1, which is 4. And so we have successfully completed part A. That is a equation that represents the profit made by Schlegel's Consulting. What is very difficult to do using this, though, is to find and interpret the y-intercept. The slope we already found, which is 125, but the y-intercept is sort of hidden in this form. So let's bring Wolfram back and put this in, and one of the alternate forms again will be that one of the alternate forms that Wolfram gives us will be slope-intercept form, and will be very easy to use. Okay, so alternate forms, we have y equals 125x. So for B, again, both of these equations are equivalent. They mean the same thing. They would produce the same value if we put numbers into them. There's just a different form of the same thing. So we get y equals 125x. I am personally going to go ahead and add a plus 0 to the end of this because in this case the y-intercept is 0. And what this is telling us is that the slope is 125, meaning that Schlegel, that's me, charges $125 per hour for consulting. And this is a very true story, folks. I have done some consulting with local school districts about math and that sort of thing, and 125 is the current going rate, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. The y-intercept is 0, meaning, so 0 is the amount of money that I would make at the beginning, or if I worked 0 hours. And so I would make $0 for working 0 hours. So that means that if Schlegel doesn't work, Schlegel doesn't get paid. True story. If Schlegel doesn't work, Schlegel doesn't get paid. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. The other is to help you. So please, again, I will remind you, reach out, ask for help, send me messages. I will always do everything that I can to help as much as I can. With that, we'll be moving on to the next.